Dixon here, and I'm so excited. I'm sitting in the Wave House, one of my premier listings, and I get the honor of speaking with Taal Safdie and Ricardo Rabines, who are responsible for building this masterpiece. So thank you both for being here today.
Nice to be here. Thank you.
I know this has been a while since you built it, and then of course you kind of enhanced it when Blake and Mike owner took over. But what was your inspiration? And obviously you had a sloped lot when you were tasked with the challenge of building this home. But were there some challenges you had to overcome whenever you did start this project?
Yeah, absolutely.
Many.
Yeah, many challenges. The slope site is being one of them. It's very steep, and coming down into the site all the way to the pool was a challenge of making it feel like it's an integrated experience. And then also having the street, right there as you enter, and trying to make that into an entrance that feels interesting.
And private.
Well, and I'm sitting in the kitchen area, but I notice if I'm ever over at the sink, just how your eyesight and the level upon which pedestrians, as they walk by, you can't necessarily directly see into the house. I thought that was a very clever angle to take. And one of my favorite things, which I've never seen, and I've had the pleasure of listing some pretty amazing architectural homes here in San Diego, but the glass walls up in the master that move, it's such a unique and fun thing to include in a house. And I know that, what was kind of that inspiration, and where did you, because that just seems, the mechanics of getting all of those perfect, but it offers sun and privacy, but where was that inspiration from?
Airflow.
Yes.
It just allows, for the circulation of the air to go through the whole house. It also makes you feel like you're in one big open space if you're just in the house alone.
And also we knew that the third floor will be very hot because it's both of the sun, so that almost becomes a chimney in a way that the air can just move very quickly. And the other thing about that is that the roof on the third floor, the master bedroom, it's curving and it's shaping. It's sort of a reflection of connecting to the neighborhood. The roofs in the neighborhood are all pitch and are all sort of very traditional Spanish. So the master bedroom has that slowly kind of delicate shape that relates to the rest of the neighbors.
Well, even just the windows in the bathroom and in through the closet to have all of that natural lighting, and they can open and slide. It's very well thought out, and clearly this is your area of expertise. You guys, your architect firm is here in Mission Hills, but you're famous not just for residential, but for commercial, and I've done my research. I watched years ago when the La Jolla Historic Society did a lecture series, just the residential homes that you guys have been a part of and created, but the commercial side, that list is so impressive, from firehouses to bridges to universities. You really have a resume that I think is outstanding and just unique in your design. And I always say, especially, granted, I'm selling the home, but people today, I feel they want to buy something architecturally significant, and they want to buy something that's famous. It is truly a piece of art, and your resume helps make this home so special. And so again, I just want to commend you on all of your success, because it's nice to have you local. And clearly the two of you are no stranger to architecture. Just from a side note, and I know somebody asked you what your favorite project was that you've ever worked on years ago. And that was, when I watched that interview, that was some time ago, but now what do you have as your favorite project?
The hardest question. Maybe still the Scripps Forum at UCSD.
Scripps Forum is such a community piece, and I think that's very telling in your story.
Yeah, I think that's one of the nicest pieces.
Yeah, and it was really early. It was one of these early projects that we did quite early on. So it's funny that we still go back to that.
So when you kind of were tasked with Mike, the current owner of the house, to kind of take that phase 2 and build the suspension bridge over the, guest house. And this is what I love bragging about, is because from day one, you have been a part of this project, from its original construction all the way through kind of its enhancement, as I always like to say. So the integrity of this home it's like an artist, the same person has always touched it. Is there anything, I've shared my favorite part of this property. Was there something that stood out that you remember? Obviously the platform off the master that has that panoramic, crazy view is quite special. But was there anything else that stood out that you remember?
I think that the thing that we like about the house a lot is how the circulation in the house is celebrated, so that whenever you go up or down the stairs, which you do quite often when you're living in a house, you're really enjoying the best views, both down into, towards the bay or up towards the sky. You're always either seeing the sky or the water. And I think that was the idea of the house. And I think the new owners, the second owners who own it now, they really completed the vision by building the guest house and adding the bridge and creating this really fantastic outdoor roof deck, which we have been to many times at parties. They would have this fantastic glowing bar that they would put on the deck, and they would have wonderful parties that would take you from the house, from the top floor down the stairs onto the bridge, over onto the roof. So nice. That was nice.
That's exactly the heart. It's just don't deny what it is there. It's just a canyon.
Right.
So we experience a canyon up and down, ascending and descending, and make that part of the living experience. And that's what it was.
Right.
Well,
that's these the black stone too. Sorry, because the stone on the public space was very earthy.
Right.
And that was a nice way to feel that the
ground's coming up.
The black stone is timeless as well. While this house is a very contemporary and it has some bold colors, I can't tell you how warm it feels every time I come in here. It's a very the energy here is just amazing. One last thing I was going to ask you, which obviously this is personal. I've read through, and you've got children, and I know, Taal, you grew up with architecture, obviously with your father, and Ricardo, I know that you were studying early on. Did any of your children follow in your footsteps?
Not one. We have 3 kids, not one.
My
two in science, but one is considering art, so who knows where she'll go.
Nice.
Yeah.
And clearly you guys have worked together for a long time, and I work with my husband as well. So I always love, and I was just kind of reading and just how the two of you work together is, I think, critical to your success too, because I think, Ricardo, you were saying Taal focuses on the details, and you guys just kind of balance each other out really, really well when it comes to these projects. I think you said you kind of come in for the ending, and she's got, it was pretty cool how you described that.
Yeah, sometimes I used to say I'm kind of like the big picture, like a lot of land. I like the sort of the big sort of move in a way. I just could handle bigger scale, and then I see the big picture, but it's much difficult for me to see the detail. While we're discussing those things, Taal just quickly sees the details. So we go from 5,000 feet to 50 feet.
To the nail.
To the nail. And then we sort of narrow down to the midpoint, and we find our ground.
Yes. Is there anything cool that's on the horizon that you guys are working on here locally, or even, I know you guys aren't just in San Diego, you've got some pretty impressive pieces all over the US, but what's next for you guys?
Well, we're completing several projects in construction at UCSD, and actually 3, which are really exciting. And then we've been doing quite a lot of housing, multifamily housing.
Well, we have a project in Las Vegas, and we're finishing a project in Bentonville, Arkansas.
Oh, wow.
And we are finishing a library in San Francisco area, and then
and a courthouse in El Centro.
Wow, very cool. All different kinds of things.
I know, very different, which makes it fun and interesting.
So what would you say to the new owners that are going to buy this house?
I hope that they enjoy it as much as the owners, these owners today. I mean, I think that they really enjoyed it there, and they made the most of it. And we hope that the next owners enjoyed just as much.
And you guys have truly been great to share a little bit of time with me. I get so excited when I get a property that has the status of somebody such as yourself, who actually had their hands in creating this, because it just helps with, and like I said, I want to shed the light not on just this house, but on also you, because you're a big part of it. So I wish you both continued success, because it's amazing to have you guys here in San Diego, because you guys are truly icons for our city. But more than anything, I appreciate you taking the time, and I will make sure everything I can do to help support you. You guys deserve it, because you've got a pretty cool resume, I would say.
And vice versa. And we will say to the new owners that let's not forget that we like to be invited to the parties. and then
Very
ask
good
us.
point.
Yeah.
Very good point.
Yeah.
We'll hopefully be having one of those. I mean, all things considered, that was one of the big things of really showcasing the lifestyle here. As you know, you've been to some of the parties, et cetera, but they'll be back one day. So
We'll be coming.
wonderful. Well, thank you both so
Thank you,
much. I really appreciate it. And I will be in touch soon.
Great. Very nice
You
to
got
meet you. Yeah. Bye.
I'm here, you guys. Bye. Hey, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. If you haven't yet checked out our most recent video, check it out here, and be sure to check out our recommended video that we think you'll like best. Ciao, ciao for now.